everybody, welcome back to my channel. Um so this video is kind of like a little bit different than a lot of the other videos that I've done. Again, um full disclaimer, my I have a list because I am wearing Smile Bright aligners, and I'm also doing a video on the progress that I'm making with those. Obviously it's going to be over a course of months. I started these aligners maybe 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so almost a month. Yeah, but back to the video. So the reason why I decided to do this video is because if you've seen my video entitled my boot camp, I think it's like my Navy boot camp experience, and it says that I was there for 6 months, then you know I was there for 6 months. And anytime, like, you're somewhere for that long in that kind of like that type of training environment, it could be a little tough on you. It was tough on me. um it definitely made me, um it changed me a lot, and not like in a bad way. It changed me in a good way because before I went to boot camp, I kind of was able to distract myself from uh, problems and stuff that I was going through in like a real life with like social media and like friends and like going out or like excessive working and different things like that. And like me being in boot camp, I was in a very controlled environment that I had very little control of doing what I wanted to do, for me to escape, for other for lack of better terms, for me to escape in any type of way. So there was a time where I was stuck to just my feelings and my thoughts, and a lot of the time I was thinking like, I did this, like I came here, despite what people thought, despite people thinking the military is not for you, or you that I wouldn't be able to do certain things because of how I was in my civilian life and different things like that. And I'm not even gonna lie, like there was a time when I was there, but it was like well past like me being there for like 3-4 months at that point. Like I had already been there for a really long time when this started going through my mind on a deep level, where I was like, okay, well maybe these people are right, that maybe I shouldn't have done this, maybe I should have chose something else to do, maybe this is just not for me. Um, and then I started sitting there and listening on the negatives that came out of me going, and not necessarily the positives that came out of me going. And then when I was in RCU, there was this girl there. Her father, I think, I sent her a book by, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right because I really suck at pronouncing names, by David Goggins, I think it is. And the book is called Can't Hurt Me. And this is like what it looks like. Yeah. So I read that book, and it began to change how I felt about what I was going through, because he went through so much. Like, if you read the book, you're like, okay, this man can run on broken feet, and if he can do 150 mile runs and marathons on broken limbs, then why can't I just do 1.5 miles? Like, why can't I do that on perfectly good feet? Or like, I'm perfectly fine, like I'm healthy. Why can't I do this? This person can do it. And he, in the beginning, tells where he came from, um, and how life was hard on him in the beginning. And he was a runner, like he was a runner or whatever, but he still went through fails. Like he still went through trying to be, I think, don't quote me, but I think he tried to go to the Marines first, or either he tried to join the SEALs first, and it didn't work out the first time. He had to rejoin it again. But the resilience that this man had in this book, and so it's an autobiography, so it's about a person's real life. Like, when I tell you that book alone aided into me digging deep within myself and just telling myself I can do it because he could do this. And that's one of the thoughts that went through my mind when I was running my final PFA. Like, it was the fact that I read this book about this person that ran on broken limbs. My eyes are like watering up, but about this man that ran on broken legs, and he did it. So I'm encouraging anybody who maybe going through something mentally where they feel like they can't do something, or they struggle doing something because they don't feel like either they're physically fit enough for it, or that they're not mentally strong enough for it, or that they're not academically smart enough for it. My suggestion is, if you read this book and you take it for what it is, you you should be able to kind of like do a self-reflection. I did a self-reflection on myself and just say, okay, I don't need to do this to this extreme of what this person did, but I could do it to to this extreme, because this is what I'm physically capable of. This is what I am mentally capable of. This is what I'm academically capable of. And so there's certain situations I would suggest that you don't go throwing yourself into something if you don't necessarily have to go throw yourself into it. But sometimes you have to do what you got to do, and I understand that. Because I started taking care of myself basically when I turned 18 years old, because I lost my mom when I was 18, and I lost my dad when I was 21, 22 years old. So from a young age, I had to like be strong. But this, when I went and I was going through what I was going through there, it was a completely different experience, and it was something completely different because my support systems, who like obviously are like the family that I had left, weren't directly there, or my friends weren't directly there, so I couldn't like just call them, or I couldn't just like go see them, and different things like that. So I was by myself, and that's something that like people, I don't get when people go into the military, I guess, is like, I don't know what they think you're doing in boot camp, but like that's the time when you really need your support system, and you really need people to be there for you on the outside, because that's really all you have when you get out. You know what I mean? So like I said, that's just something I suggest that you read if you're going through something, if you're going through a tough time, or if you're about to go to boot camp. I do suggest that you read it, because I feel like it'll give you a mental boost, because you'll be able to kind of like see what somebody else had to struggle through, and it'll make you see that anything is possible and that nothing is impossible. So that was just my little tidbit. Is it tidbit or tidbit? I think it's tidbit on something that helped me get through a tough time in boot camp. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna see y'all in this next video next Friday.